And this next speaker is really kind of, he represents the kind of innovation laboratory that's building on top of the Near ecosystem in the name of Proximity Labs. So Kendall is going to be discussing what Proximity Labs is building and kind of what additional products or services they're going to be bringing to the Near ecosystem to complement this world of dApps and universe of chains. Welcome, Kendall.
Thanks, Ozzy. Hey, everyone. Thanks, Aaron and Alex, for great presentations. I'm pretty excited for both Octopus and Aurora. And I'm also excited to tell you guys a bit about Proximity. And more important, really, because the focus of this is actually going to be just DeFi on Near, to tell you about what's been happening. All right. Great. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. So I'm here to briefly introduce a new organization in the Near ecosystem and tell you a bit about what it is that we're going to do. Really, this will be kind of high level, and what I recommend is kind of following along on Twitter, seeing a lot more information about what we're building, what we're working on, the teams we're working with over the next couple of weeks. To keep it pretty simple here, Proximity is about supporting DeFi on Near. So our purpose is pretty straightforward. We want to establish Near and Aurora as the top choices for DeFi blue chips. These are the big projects that you've heard about, and new boundary pushing projects. These are the ones that are really innovating, really trying to do new things, trying to do new models, and trying to bring DeFi to new people, most importantly. That's pretty much the long and short of it. As far as how we're going to do this and what we're actually going to do, it's really three major categories. So we will be building. We are a team of builders. All six of our initial team are builders, and that's sort of the core of our DNA. So we will be launching some open source software and applications for the Near ecosystem. Most of these will be kind of DeFi applications. We'll also be building on the community side. This will be building out communities for the different projects that we launch. This will be participating in DAOs in the ecosystem, especially the ones that are related to financial, protocols, and building out more on kind of that sort of like softer, community side. We'll also be researchers. So three major kind of areas that we'll be investigating on and things you can expect from us. We will be publishing fairly regular reports on the state of Near DeFi. We want to be probably the best source for what's happening on Near DeFi. We'll also be conducting some audits and in particular code reviews of new applications that are being launched in the Near space. We want to make it very clear, when there are new DeFi projects, that these are trustworthy, that these are, they're doing what they say they're going to do, and that they're going to be value add for the community. And we'll also be identifying opportunities for new projects. We think that Near is one of the best places to build any of these kind of applications. What's really exciting is that the ecosystem is just starting to emerge. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity, and we want to make it clear to the entrepreneurs and builders in the ecosystem what's out there, and also help them do it. And that gets into this next point, which is support. So we're already helping several projects with their go-to-market. We're going to continue to do so, and that will be one of the big focuses of our organization. And we can also help with, introductions to the broader community, to investors, and to people that can help your project. So that's pretty much the long and short of what Proximity Labs is going to do. I know that's pretty high level, but like I said, there'll be a lot more coming soon. If you're working on a DeFi project, please do reach out to us. There's our email right there, projects@proximity.dev. And we'll be happy to hop on a call pretty quickly. We really just want to get in touch with any builders that are out there. So that's a little bit about Proximity. Like I said, a lot more coming soon. Could you hop in there?
Oh, no, I just want to kind of summarize real quick. So if you could just go back a slide real quickly. If I understand you then correctly, Proximity Labs is kind of just a juggernaut that's going to be providing kind of all-in-one services for getting these new emerging DeFi projects out in a very kind of thorough and technically, refined manner. Is that fair to say that, the products that are going to be launching are going to be, as you said, audited, ready to go, fully developed, and kind of trying to be the next generation of blue chip DeFi?
Exactly. And also, we want to work with blue chip DeFi, but yes, we want to build it natively on Near. So yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Sounds like a very broad scope. It is. I think over time we'll evolve, in each of these areas. But yeah, the long and short of it right now is we want to help these projects launch and be as complete as possible when they go to market. All right, so that's not all of them I have here for you guys today. So we're going to talk about what's actually been happening on DeFi on Near. So we're going to cover 2 of the apps that are live, and then I'm also going to highlight a few things that are coming soon. So Ref Finance, this is a project that some of you in the community may have already interacted with. You may be aware of it. What is Ref? It is a decentralized exchange and an automated market maker. For those of you who aren't familiar with an automated market maker, this is essentially what Uniswap does. You may be familiar with that. The very quick description is that it's an exchange that can always give you a price. And there's a few unique ways in which they do that. So yeah, this first product that is live, you can check it out now. It's at app.ref.finance. So it has a few differentiations from some of the other automated market makers that are out there. It can support multiple curve types out of the box. The first curve that is live is that kind of Uniswap style curve, but there's a few more that are in development. It can support trades across pools, which is pretty interesting. You could have multiple pools with different prices, maybe like different amounts of liquidity, and trades can actually be routed across these pools to give you the best price. And it also supports customizable fees. I think this team has realized that there's different risks that are associated with providing liquidity to different markets. And so they've allowed you to choose your fee based on what you think the risk of that pool is. So we've seen some early success in this project with some of the Near specific assets in particular. I guess no surprise there. Skyward project that we'll be talking about just a second, and also Cucumber. For anyone who's used Berry Club, you're probably familiar with Cucumber. So since launch, there have been 134 unique pools that have been created. There's actually several thousand in total, but these are 134 unique pairs, which has been pretty exciting to see. There's over 1.5 million in liquidity that's been added to the pool. And maybe most impressively, we saw the Skyward Near pair recently eclipse 1 million in liquidity just the other day. And so far is the most successful pool on this platform. And I think what that demonstrates is that there's clear demand for near native assets and ways to kind of, get and provide liquidity for these near native assets. Imagine we'll see a lot more of that very soon. There's also a fully operational DAO, which is pretty cool. Like in the early life cycle of this project, they were one of the earliest Sputnik V2 DAOs. And actually their first proposal was to create a token, which I imagine we'll learn more about how that community plans to use that token. But I think what's fascinating is that they've clearly shown a commitment to be community driven from the early days, which is something we encourage for all of our projects that are building on Near. So if you want to learn more about this project, I recommend following them on Twitter. And if you want to see how it's doing, there's a really great community built project, community member named Didier, who built Sodaki.com, which is analytics for Ref. Pretty exciting stuff to see that in the early days, and that's definitely a useful product for the space. All right, so that's Ref.
And real quickly, Kendall, before we go into Ref, correct me if I'm wrong, but the swap fee on Ref is 0.005 of a cent. Is that right? It's up there and being one of the cheapest transaction costs that you can find right now in all of crypto. And I believe there's also a 1 to 2 second finality on those swaps. Anything to add on that front?
Nothing to add. Those are great points. That transaction fee, that's referring to the transaction fee. It is extremely low. One thing I would add that I think is really cool about Ref, I find it to be one of the easier dexes to use from your phone. The reason being that I think part of this is, the Near wallet being pretty mobile friendly. You can just go to a few websites and interact with it, which I find to be pretty elegant. So excited to see how that develops if there's a unique trading from your phone. But yeah, like you mentioned, very cheap fees, pretty quick. One of the strengths of the Near blockchain is fast finality, so you don't have to worry too much about your trade being reverted, which is something that's starting to creep in on some other blockchains.
one final thing we can just say is ref is emerging, but the technical design of it and the capacities, as you just heard, are next level for what's coming in crypto. So you're going to definitely want to keep your eye on the ref DAO, on the token economics as it emerges, and kind of the overall growth of this specific project, because there's going to be a lot of DeFi Legos built on and around it, most likely in the coming months. So Kendall, I think you said you have Scott, you're going to be discussing another project. Would you like to get into that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked a lot about Skyward in this. I mean, it's clearly been, one of the early projects in the DeFi space. So let's jump into it a bit more. So Skyward's fascinating because it's a auction protocol. I think they're really focused on price discovery for new new kind of assets, tokens, etc. on the Near blockchain. I put the term fairer there because they have kind of a novel way of doing this. Where basically they run an auction every single block, and you can essentially deposit some of the whatever token that team is targeting, and then participate in these auctions over every single block, which is sort of a new way of doing things. And you'll kind of receive like a pro rata amount of tokens depending on how much you put in. So to make that really simple, if you have half of the tokens that are put into the pool, say there's 100 near and you put in 50, if they're distributing 10 tokens every single block, you'll receive 5 of those. And then as that pool grows or shrinks, your distribution will change. But what's really cool about this is that you kind of can get rewarded for being early, for being late. Really it just depends on how the attention of this pool changes, which is kind of an interesting and a different way than we've seen of doing this than other protocols. They recently completed their first auction. Here's a screenshot I took from the treasury. As you can see there's over 1.2 million participated in that, which we found pretty exciting. That's a good percentage of the Near out there that clearly was interested in this. And there were over 1,000 unique participants. And I think that's the thing that I found the most exciting. That's the kind of engagement that we like to see from these early projects. What's pretty interesting here too, as you can see, this is the Skyward treasury. So Skyward, that token can actually be redeemed for the tokens in the treasury. And in this first sale, the treasury balance is actually higher than what the like sort of aggregate price was for the sale, which means that anyone who participated throughout the life of this auction can actually redeem their Skyward token for more than they paid for it, which is kind of interesting. We'll see if that holds true going forward, but found it pretty fascinating. If you'd like to learn more about this project, I recommend following them on Twitter as well. They're pretty active there, and I imagine they'll be announcing changes to their protocol and new up and coming things as time goes on. But I think what's also cool is this project worked pretty closely with Ref, and that there was a Ref market that was trading as this auction was going on, which created some kind of fascinating dynamics, and definitely excited to see how that evolves over the next few weeks and months.
Yeah, that's a great overview of it. And I think maybe one thing that to really emphasize from this is that, as I remember, there's 1 million total Skyward tokens. Is that right, Kendall? There's a million total Skyward tokens, and then those tokens are going to have a yield on the Skyward treasury. The Skyward treasury will be taking a small fee from every project that does an IDO on the platform. So effectively, in looking at what is the kind of long-term prospects of Skyward, you're estimating the number of projects that are going to be launching on the platform, and every time that a project launches, that treasury is going to load up a little bit more.
Yeah, that's our understanding as well. Definitely worth doing your own research there, of course, as with any of this stuff. But I mean, we think what's interesting is we're seeing a lot of the early kind of Near projects have shown some interest in getting involved, and I think that's just showing how early Near projects want to really work together, which is really exciting. And I think that's one of the benefits of an early ecosystem is these projects can really collaborate and kind of create value for each other.
That's really well put.
That's Ref and that's Skyward, 2 projects that we've seen that are live. What I also want to do is leave you guys with several projects that are launching soon. Many of these you actually may have heard about. Aurora, obviously, we'll talk a little bit about what's coming there. So this first one is definitely one of the most exciting projects in the Near space and has been for some time. Flux, a project I'm sure many of you are familiar with. So they are launching an Oracle aggregator. What's exciting is it's an Oracle that has kind of its own security model, its own economic guarantees, but they are designing it to be able to pull in prices from other oracles and from a lot of different data sources. I expect to see them pretty quickly evolve to have one of the most robust kind of price feeds out there, and even more than just prices. And that's going to be exciting. That's going to open up a lot of opportunities for innovation on the Near blockchain. So keep an eye out for them launching pretty soon. Another one, and one you may, but it's by some very, very valued community members in this space, Lucio and Claudio, is Metapool. Metapool is launching what's called liquid staking for Near. So what's really fascinating about liquid staking is that it allows you to have your Near staked, but then receive kind of a sort of like a token that's representing that stake position that will represent the rewards that are accumulated. And what this means is that you don't have to make the choice between staking Near or participating in other DeFi applications. Maybe this is like a lending protocol that launches and you want to lend your Near, be able to borrow against it. Currently, you need to make the choice between unstaking, kind of giving up those staking rewards, adding that additional security to the network, and being able to, to take out loans against your Near. With Metapool and other liquid staking protocols, you're actually going to not have to make this choice anymore. You're going to be able to put in one Near, get one stake Near, go deposit this staked Near into some kind of lending protocol, borrow against it, and then still earn rewards on your stake Near. This is very exciting. I think this is going to open up a lot of really interesting DeFi use cases. So keep an eye out for them. I believe they're actually planning to launch by the end of this month in a soft launch capacity. Another really exciting project, and one that actually has a lot of overlap or a lot of kind of synergies with the Metapool, is OIN Finance. So OIN is launching which will be likely the first native stablecoin on Near, which we're really excited about. So what this means is you can actually, using Near or stake Near, basically deposit this OIN and then withdraw a stablecoin loan. This will be, I believe they're calling it something like NUSD. That will be representative of a stablecoin. I imagine that'll be used in a lot of DeFi across the year, and also open up a lot of opportunities for leverage and other, borrowing opportunities. So definitely want to keep an eye out on. Another one that you might be familiar with, this has been sort of soft live for quite some time, and maybe even already is fully live, is Pulse. Pulse is prediction markets, which has a very broad range of use cases. We've seen a lot of interest there, to sort of predict the outcome of different sporting events and other kind of events. Definitely one to keep an eye on, and one you can actually start to use today. But I believe they'll be going fully live, and they'll likely be the first, the first project to use the Flux Oracle before too long. So keep an eye out on what they're doing. And last but not least, obviously Alex gave a great presentation on Aurora, which is, itself is already live. But I think what's exciting is we're going to see the initial slate of projects on top of Aurora that are launching. And we're working pretty closely at Proximity with a lot of these. Don't want to give too much away just yet, but there'll be some announcements coming very soon. But just to give you guys an idea of the type of projects that will be, sort of included in this initial slate. So there's going to be some DEXs that you're familiar with. There are some lending protocols that are in the works here as well, which is going to open up, again, a lot of different opportunities for both native Near DeFi and Aurora DeFi. And there's going to be some really interesting derivative projects, which is one of my kind of favorite, areas of research and development in this space. So lots to keep an eye on there. What I'll recommend is that if you follow us for updates on Proximity Fi on Twitter, we have a post up there already that actually will link you to the Twitter feeds of each of these projects that I just mentioned, and give you a little bit more information. And I recommend following each of those projects individually because they put out a lot of really good content about, and updates about what it is that they're doing. So a lot of really good stuff that's happening in the Near DeFi ecosystem. And we couldn't be more excited about seeing how the next few weeks and months play out.
I think your presentation made it very clear that DeFi is alive and well in the Near ecosystem. And it just to kind of emphasize some points there is now an Oracle play that's going to be launching on Near called Flux. That'll be coming out. We're going to have stable coins, prediction markets, liquid staking. I mean, a lot of base level DeFi infrastructure that's just starting to emerge. That's going to actually be the foundation for even more complex and sophisticated applications in the future. And Proximity Labs is effectively the kind of innovation factory that's going to help push all of this stuff out. Kendall, do you have anything else you'd like to add for the community projects, specifically for them to follow, or anything more just to tie this up?
Yeah, I'd say, if you have questions about any of this, please come, please come ask them. I'll be doing an AMA like Alex and Aaron will after this. If you'd like to get involved, please, you can reach out to us on Twitter. You can, message us at projects@proximity.dev. But, we want to learn from you guys about what's interesting to you, just as much as we're hoping to put out some content that will hopefully be interesting for everyone.